Hello and welcome to Football Now, a new YouTube channel where we're going to be previewing the upcoming games from the Premier League this weekend, running you through the betting odds and giving our own predictions. I'm joined by Connor. Connor, how are you doing?
I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for this one. My beloved Arsenal. Um, yeah, Arsenal win 4-0 next episode.
There we go. That wraps that up. We've got Everton. Everton playing at Arsenal at home, a struggling Everton against an informed Arsenal. I'm sure will be buoyed by the ending of their recent game against United, winning
Yeah.
3-1, two late goals by Declan Rice and Gabriel Jesus. We'll start with Everton. We'll keep you waiting to talk about the good stuff because they are the home team, and we can all have a laugh at how they've started their season. I think people heading into the season were thinking maybe they would kick on now. They've survived relegation twice by the skin of their teeth last time out on the final day. I think people, Sean Dyche full season, people are expecting them to, like I said, to kick on a bit stronger, but it's just not happened for whatever reason. Looking at the form now, it doesn't paint well for Everton fans. They've not won a game yet in the league. They picked up their first point last time out away to Sheffield United. But Connor, what have you made of them so far?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I just thought they would kick on. Sean Dyche's first full season as well with Everton, and it's been disappointing. I mean, they got the first point last time out, which is good, but they had to hang on to that. Jordan Pickford has to make a double save right at the end to keep them in that. I mean, there we go. Look at that. Lost draw. And then Arsenal next. It doesn't make good reading. If I was to give any little glimmer of hope, it's if you look at the form that Everton have had at Goodison Park against Arsenal, it's absolutely outstanding. Everton have taken 14 out of a possible 15 points against Arsenal at Goodison Park in the last 5 games. Now this wasn't a different. This is an Everton team that have been struggling throughout that period. So it's not like Everton were good and all of a sudden it's a different team. Last season, Sean Dyche's first game when he came in, beat Arsenal 1-0. Season before that, Everton, they beat Arsenal 2-1, but they absolutely outplayed Arsenal. So if Everton are going to hang on to any glimmer of hope, that is what I've got to hold on to there, that home form. But yeah, Arsenal outstanding last season. They've been very, very good this season. It is going to be difficult for Everton to challenge Arsenal, I feel like.
Yeah, we've mentioned the home form of some of the other teams that we expect to be around the drop, Sheffield United, Luton, etc. I think if Everton are going to stay up again this year, I think they're really pushing it now. It's the third year in a row where it looks like we're only 4 games in, but the start doesn't paint a pretty picture. They need to capitalise on those games at Goodison Park. I
Yeah,
think
they do.
Goodison, it's very similar to Newcastle Goodison. It reminds you when the fans are behind you, it's one of the most difficult places to go. But when they're in a slump, which they are at the minute, there's a lot of toxicity around the club regarding the ownership and the transfer business or lack of transfer business, depending on who you ask. It is a difficult place right now for those players and for that squad. You've mentioned the good form there against Arsenal, but like we said, they're not going to be defined by this game, but the home games are going to be where they need to be getting the bulk of their
Yeah,
points.
I mean, you say they're not going to be defined by this game, and they won't be defined by this game. But it does start getting to the point where if you're not picking up points against the other sides, then actually, you are going to have to pick up points against the big boys. I mean, if you look at the table from last season, that victory against Arsenal, actually, they needed. They got 3 points against Arsenal. They got a point against Manchester City. So it's important, and they've picked up one point this season against Sheffield United. Sheffield have just come up. And yes, it was away from home, but you know, the odd point here or there is simply not good enough. They are going to have to start winning games. We see the odds there on the screen, 4-9 for Arsenal. Big favourites and rightfully so. Like I mentioned, the only thing you can say about Everton is that outstanding record they've got at Goodison against Arsenal. That really is the only sort of saving grace, the only bit of hope that I think Everton fans can cling on to. Is it worth a 92 shot? Maybe if you've got a free bet in your account, maybe it is. Arsenal got a few injuries. I'm sure you'll talk about. Partey's out. He's been playing this season, but I think Arsenal. They've looked okay this season. I don't think they've looked as good as last season. They've looked okay. I think Arteta's not 100% on what he wants at the back. He's been forced to revert to what he did last season. Actually, now that Partey's injured, that sort of back four of Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko. Um, but yeah, it's from what I've been hearing. I think Saka has been struggling as well. He's fit, he'll play, but he's not 100% fit. He's been struggling with a bit of an Achilles problem. And again, it's who do we start up front? Do we start giving Jesus minutes from the start now, or do we give Nketiah the number 9 role? What happens to Trossard? I think Trossard has been really unlucky not to start more games this season. Obviously, Havertz is coming for big money. And I don't think he's been great. I'll be honest. I've been trying to believe that he's done well. I've been trying to look at all the positives, but he's not started the season well. And I think Arsenal, whilst they're in this sort of transition period, trying to figure out, what the best personnel is, what the best formation is. This is where teams can hit Arsenal. We saw Fulham do that. There was when one looked very early on, went 2-1 down, then lost the man, but still showed the resolve to pull it back to 2-2. But I think Everton just need to be brave. I think they need to be brave. They need to try and attack Arsenal. Arsenal, we know, do like to play out from the back. And if Everton can press, and if Everton, I don't see Everton taking the ball from the back and playing through the pitch and getting to Arsenal's score. But if they can press Arsenal in that Arsenal defensive third, and really win the ball high up the pitch, then they could create problems, especially in that Goodison crowd who are really going to be pushing Everton to be getting into those tackles. I do think Arsenal will win. I think 4-9. Is 4-9, 1-2. Those sorts of odds are good for actors. But if you believe in form and if you believe in the home form, you believe in the crowd of Goodison, 9-2. If you got a free bet or you got a cheeky fiver floating around, maybe Everton can make it another win for them against Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. We've mentioned Bournemouth in the last video. With a couple of teams that we've said so far, down the bottom, you need goals in your team. Again, with Everton, you struggle to see where that comes from. The Calvert-Lewin again is out. He just
it's such a shame, isn't it? I feel gutted for the lad because he deserves to run a games, and obviously we've had it before in the past with Jack Wilshere. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, he returned from injury and then got injured again. It's just it's a huge blow. It's because Everton are lacking goals, and he's a goal scorer, and they just can't get him through a game.
They have brought in Beto from Udinese and Shamiti from Sport in Lisbon, as well as Dan Yuma, on the wing, on loan from Villarreal. I think he bagged his first goal for them in the last game. Was it Sheffield United? Did he score the equaliser?
Danjuma, yeah, he did, yeah. And Beto scored. He's already got on the score sheet for Everton in I guess that win against Doncaster in the cup. So yeah, it's there's a lot of responsibility in these guys because these guys are going to be know that they're coming into a club that need goals. Obviously, they've lost Awarby as well, who was a great attacking outlet for them. But I need to be fair. What could Everton do? He had a year left on his contract. He wasn't signing another one. So I guess from Everton's point of view, you've got to cash in there. But these sort of next few games for Everton are going to be crucial. I was looking at the odds on the manager market earlier, and Sean Dyche has been instilled as the favourite to be sacked. But yeah, I think Sean Dyche. We always associate Sean Dyche's team as hard to beat. They need to be hard to beat here. If they do lose this game, it can't be a hammering. If it is a hammering, I actually think that should go because even at this early stage of the season, if you're not putting points on the board, you start to panic because I don't think there's a lot of teams worse than Everton.
Yeah. Perhaps they'll be buoyed by the news this week of a potential takeover from Fahad Mashiri. I don't think he's gone down very well at all with the fans there.
No.
Obviously, we know the process. That can take a while. When that will, however long that will take to play out, whether that plays a factor this weekend, I don't know. I think you just predicted there an Arsenal win.
I do think Arsenal win. I can't predict against Arsenal. I'm going to go for. I'm going to go 3-0. Yeah, I was thinking, Everton's going to get one. I don't think so. I think Arsenal are going to control the game. I don't think Arsenal have been fantastic this season, but I think they will click. And I think Arsenal are going to put this sort of voodoo curse at Goodison Park behind them. You were just talking there actually about, will Everton be buoyed by the takeover? I think Everton I've been really frustrated actually with the board because they was told that this new stadium, Bramley Moore, that they're building is not going to affect them financially. It's not going to affect them in the transfer market, and it has. That they don't spend money. It has, and I know what it's like moving to a new stadium. Arsenal really, really suffered. If Everton go to Bramley Moore in the Championship, they are going to find it really difficult to come back up. That's going to hurt the club. This is the make or break season for them. It really, really is. And I think that's why the pressure is going to be ramped up on Sean Dyche. And I think, I know Arsenal are a great side, but, if they lose this game, it's a bit like the Frank Lampard situation last season. You're almost waiting every game. You're checking your phone. Has he gone yet?
Mm-hmm. I think that new stadium was heralded as a beacon of hope, but now it's just a shadow which is looming over them. Like you said, if they do go down, I can't look past an Arsenal win as well. I'll go 4-1 away win for Arsenal as they look to go one better than they did last season, and hopefully, for your sake at least, win the title this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our table, it's like we've won 4 games and drawn the other one. We're 5th.
Yeah.
I think it's been a really strong start to the season from everyone. Well, not everyone, obviously, but from quite a lot of teams.
What's the top?
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see sort of how many teams can sustain that. I think it's always hard at the start of the season because you've got so many international breaks. Obviously, we've just had one. There's one in October. There's one in November as well. And it's hard to come through those. And then obviously the month after that, you've got Christmas, which is such a really, really hectic schedule. But I think Arsenal will be fine. They've got Champions League football. I think I do think they had this. Well, they did have the squad depth actually. I think losing Timber made a really good transfer in those teams. Not as good, but yeah, I think we were almost spoiled a bit last season. I'm not expecting Arsenal really to do a big challenge like last season, but we have to ground ourselves. Champions League football comfortably would be a good season for Arsenal, and then we can start to build because City are an animal, and I think for Everton, I think if they survive this season, then maybe they can build for the season after. But we've been saying that for 3 seasons, and it's not happened.
Let's see how it gets on. That concludes our roundup for Everton Arsenal.
Did you give a scoreline? I can't remember. Sorry, I rambled about Arsenal because I like to do that. I said 3-0 Arsenal. I can't remember if you said anything.
I think I said 4-1 Arsenal.
4-1. I'll take that.
There we go. That concludes our roundup for Everton Arsenal this Sunday at 4:30 on Sky Sports at Goodison Park. Let us know your own predictions below in the comments. Check out our preview videos. Final game of the weekend coming up: Nottingham Forest at home to Burnley on Monday night.